Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. The Morning Edition by J. Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is J. Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A New York Police Department officer who had only recently joined the force has died following complications from cosmetic surgery in the Dominican Republic. Officer Rebecca de Paula, 31, was a married mother of three, a pastor, and a member of the New York Police Department's 46th Precinct in the Bronx. Authorities say she experienced serious medical complications after undergoing a cosmetic procedure, reportedly involving the removal of breast implants. Family members are seeking answers and want investigators to determine whether proper medical safety procedures were followed. De Paula's mother says she was notified that her daughter was in critical condition but arrived to discover she had already passed away. De Paula had served with the department for approximately 18 months and was recently recognized as her precinct's Officer of the Month. Police officials and fellow officers are mourning her death, calling it a devastating loss. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities examine the circumstances surrounding the procedure. This is Streaming News Network. Social media communities are mourning the loss of influencer Joe Felz, who has died at the age of 40. Felz became widely known for documenting his unconventional van life, entrepreneurial projects, and personal spiritual journey with followers across multiple online platforms. His girlfriend, Alexandra, announced his passing in an emotional statement, saying Joe had left this world and asking supporters to allow his family and loved ones time and privacy to grieve. The cause and manner of Felz's death have not been publicly disclosed. Following his passing, his girlfriend addressed what she described as inaccurate speculation and unconfirmed claims surrounding the circumstances of his death. She urged people to be respectful and said additional information would be shared when the time was appropriate. Felz built a combined following of more than 1 million people on social media, where many connected with his message of personal freedom, creativity, and spirituality. Fans continue to remember Joe Felz and the impact he made through his online community. This is Streaming News Network. Buc-ee's, the popular convenience store and travel center chain known for its famous beaver mascot, has filed another trademark lawsuit, this time against a small neighborhood store in Ohio. The lawsuit targets Beaver's Mini Mart in Beaver Creek, Ohio, claiming the store's logo, which features a smiling beaver and similar colors, could create confusion among customers. The owner of the small business says he does not understand why a major company would take legal action against his family-owned store. The lawsuit comes just days after comedian John Oliver criticized Buc-ee's on his program, accusing the company of aggressively pursuing smaller businesses with animal-themed logos. Oliver challenged Buc-ee's to take legal action against a company its own size. Buc-ee's has previously filed multiple trademark disputes involving businesses with animal mascots, often arguing that similar designs could affect its brand identity. The latest case has renewed discussions about the balance between protecting trademarks and the impact of legal battles on small businesses. Buc-ee's has not publicly commented on the lawsuit. This is Streaming News Network. A federal judge has dismissed the final January 6 Capitol riot case involving members and leaders of the Oath Keepers, while sharply criticizing the Justice Department's decision to end the prosecution. Judge Amit Mehta said he reluctantly granted the dismissal request, writing that the move diminished the seriousness of the events surrounding the attack on the United States Capitol. He said the court could not create a different outcome, despite disagreeing with the government's decision. The case involved allegations of seditious conspiracy against 9 defendants connected to the Oath Keepers. The group's leader, Stuart Rhodes, had previously received an 18-year prison sentence for his role in the events surrounding January 6. The dismissal followed pardons and commutations issued by President Donald Trump involving individuals charged in connection with the Capitol attack, along with a request from the Justice Department to end the remaining prosecution. Judge Mehta said courts must respect the authority of the executive branch when it comes to charging decisions, even when the court disagrees with the outcome. The ruling officially closes the final federal prosecution related to the Oath Keepers case. This is Streaming News Network. The United States Justice Department has announced 5 separate indictments against alleged high-ranking leaders of Mexico's Jalisco New Generation cartel, commonly known as CJNG. Acting United States Attorney General Todd Blanche announced the indictments during a news conference, saying the cases target individuals accused of holding leadership positions within one of the world's most powerful criminal organizations. Federal officials have identified CJNG as a major international trafficking organization involved in the movement of illegal drugs and other criminal activities across borders. The newly unsealed indictments represent the latest effort by United States authorities to pursue cartel leaders and disrupt networks connected to organized crime. Officials say the cases will now move through the federal court system, where prosecutors will present their allegations and defendants will have the opportunity to respond. The Justice Department says international cooperation and continued enforcement efforts remain central to addressing the threat posed by transnational criminal organizations. This is Streaming News Network. A Hawaii congressional candidate has been arrested following a violent confrontation at a Maui beach that authorities say involved alleged threats and a physical altercation. Democrat Kirill Basin, who is campaigning for a seat in Congress, was taken into custody after an incident at Keauakapu Beach. Police say the confrontation began when a 61-year-old man asked Basin to lower his music. According to authorities, the disagreement escalated when Basin allegedly made threatening statements involving a firearm and later displayed a knife. Investigators say Basin reportedly cut himself during the incident before throwing the knife into the ocean. Video from the scene appears to show the confrontation escalating before Basin was struck by the other man and knocked unconscious. Basin is facing allegations of making terroristic threats, and his bail was set at $1 million. The case remains under investigation as authorities continue reviewing witness statements and evidence from the incident. This is Streaming News Network. Nearly 30 years after the death of Tupac Shakur, a courtroom is preparing to revisit one of hip-hop's most infamous unsolved murders. Dwayne "Kef D" Davis, 63, is scheduled to stand trial in connection with the September 7, 1996, drive-by shooting that killed Shakur in Las Vegas. Davis has pleaded not guilty to charges that he helped orchestrate the attack. Prosecutors allege the shooting was retaliation following a confrontation earlier that night involving Shakur, music executive Marion "Suge" Knight, and Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, who was Davis's nephew. Shakur, one of rap's most influential artists, was riding in a vehicle with Knight when another car pulled alongside and gunfire erupted. The rapper suffered multiple gunshot wounds and died 6 days later at the age of 25. Several figures connected to the case have since died, including Anderson, who was long considered a possible suspect but was never charged. Investigators say the missing weapon and vehicle remain key challenges, leaving prosecutors expected to rely heavily on testimony, past statements, and other evidence. The trial marks a major moment in a case that has captivated fans and investigators for nearly 3 decades. This is Streaming News Network. Vice President JD Vance says the Trump administration's anti-fraud task force has identified an estimated $230 billion in fraudulent activity and prevented $56 billion in questionable payments from being issued. Vance, who co-chairs the task force with Federal Trade Commission Chairman Andrew Ferguson, said the figures represent efforts to protect taxpayer money and uncover waste and misconduct across government programs. The vice president said, however, that finding fraud is only part of the solution. He called on Congress to make permanent changes to federal laws to prevent future administrations from reversing the work. Vance also emphasized the importance of cooperation between federal and state agencies, including increased data sharing to help identify suspicious activity. White House officials attending the discussion also called for tougher penalties for individuals convicted of fraud, arguing that stronger consequences could help discourage future crimes. The administration says the anti-fraud initiative will continue targeting waste and protecting government funds, while details behind the estimates remain a subject of public discussion. This is Streaming News Network. Television personality Mike Rowe is responding to online criticism following comments about political ideology and the direction of the Democratic Party. Rowe, best known as the former host of Dirty Jobs, sparked debate after sharing his views on Democrats' relationship with Democratic Socialist candidates and warning that embracing certain political ideas could affect support among independent and moderate voters. Following criticism from social media users, Rowe posted a detailed response defending his comments. He said he understood the differences between democratic socialism and communism, but argued that some candidates use language and positions that he believes raise concerns about capitalism, government structure, and constitutional principles. Rowe also emphasized that he was not endorsing a political party or candidate, describing himself as an independent voter whose views often align with conservative policies. The comments have fueled broader discussions about political identity, ideology, and how parties appeal to voters in an increasingly divided political environment. Rowe says his goal is to encourage open debate rather than simply promote one side of the political spectrum. I am J. Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Thank you for watching and staying informed.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.